for the Folk Club of South Florida. And also playing tomorrow evening at the Miami Beach Band Shell is MiamiBloco. And the group I've been trying to get here in the studio for a while, and I'm glad to have here welcome members of MiamiBloco, as well as Brian Potts and suOm, who this is your idea, MiamiBloco? Whose idea was this?
Yeah, this is us. This is all our fault.
How long ago was it that you...
It's been about 5 or 6 years now that MiamiBloco has been in existence. And at first it was just classes that I was giving for free in the park, based on my experience in Rio, learning how to play samba drums with some of the masters of the Salguero, Viradora samba schools, Batuque Batu. And I got very passionate about the drums. I started bringing them back up here, and I just started saying, hey, let's get some friends together and start playing, just to learn the stuff. And we would do free classes for about 5 years.
Here on the beach?
We were doing them on the beach. We would just go to different parks until we got kicked out.
Okay.
And then the pandemic hit. We kind of shut down. And when we relaunched, suOm came on board. And we are in a new era of MiamiBloco at this point, because before it was like, 5, 10 people getting together in a park. And now we have 40 people on stage that know all the calls and everything. We got classes of 25 people that are learning how to play. Like, it's an institution now. And it's really because of this partnership that we've struck.
Well, before I talk to suOm, ask you, Brian, you brought like a certain education to these drumming classes. It wasn't just drumming, but you brought rhythms from all over the world.
Yeah, it's two things. It's my experience from being at the University of Miami. I got my doctorate in classical percussion there under Ney Rosario, who's a Brazilian percussionist who kind of got me into this world. And so I have like a background in that type of teaching for sure, and I've been teaching for most of my life now at this point. But I also learned a lot by being in the Salguero samba schools, by being in Viradoro, and seeing how this music was taught that way. And one of the things that I say over and over again to these people is, Nara Vasconcelos, the great Brazilian percussionist, said, the first instrument is the voice, the best instrument is the body. And the way that we learn to play all these things is through singing them. Before we hit the drums, we learn how to sing the rhythms first and speak them as a language.
And samba as well?
Samba as well, and then all of the different rhythms that we create. Because this is all samba percussion, but the idea is that, hey, we're here in Miami, and let's take advantage of the fact that we have all these incredible cultures, all these incredible styles of music here, and adapt them for the bateria, which we think of as like an orchestra. We have all these high-frequency instruments, tamborim, caixa. We have low-frequency instruments like the surdo over here. And so we arrange based upon like what we have like in our color palette and create that way.
That's a lot of information there, Brian. So you have all drums from all over the world?
No, the drums that we use are only from Rio de Janeiro, from Sao Paulo, from like samba. Carioca style samba, especially because that's where I learned the most of it.
Well, samba's a dance.
Samba is a dance. Samba is a music. Samba is a culture. Samba is a life.
Primarily Brazilian.
Yes, Brazilian for sure, and like that's the focus. MiamiBloco, the last word of that bloco, is a representation of a community group based around samba drumming. So we use the standard samba instrumentation, and then we do reggaeton on it, and we do cumbia on it, and we do Nahua music on it. We're doing like a bunch of different things because we have so many incredibly talented people in the group that can pull this off. So let's do it.
Well, before I find out what you're doing tomorrow night, I have to say hello to suOm.
Hello.
Hello, suOm. And so you brought the MiamiBloco to a new level, according to Brian. What did you bring to it?
Well, I actually just understood what happens when people get together as a technology to get people caring about being in a community, not just, playing together and going home. Like, the point of MiamiBloco is to bring the people beyond the playing into what's happening in your community. How can I, care about what's going on in different aspects of each of the members. So what's happening in Bloco is sort of a weaving of different people from different social classes, from different cultures. And that's, as a community planner, that's how I saw how it can be like really a part of what Miami identity is, beyond just drumming,
So your background is in planning?
Yes, I'm an urban designer.
Oh, no. Have you been involved with the other musical groups?
No, I help in a circus collective in New Mexico. It's a social circus, so they use the circus platform as community building, just like MiamiBloco does it with samba.
Well, congratulations, because a few times I've seen MiamiBloco I mean, there was it's almost like a community chorus with drums.
Yep. That's the idea behind it, is that like the drumming is just an excuse to get together and be friends with each other and get to know people outside of your social circles, all that sort of stuff. I mean, I think she put it perfectly.
Yeah.
Like, this is community building technology. Like, I have some good friends that I've played 1 million gigs with, and that makes up a small percentage of the group. And now it's grown and grown and grown and grown into all these different people who will come from different walks of life, and we would not really know each other otherwise, you know? It's the glue that holds Rio together, is this, you know? And we need this kind of thing here for sure in Miami.
As you mean, so it's in Rio as in Miami. It's the same type of bloco.
This is the idea. Is like when I studied with Gabriela Batuki Batu, the big thing that I learned was not like the rhythms and the technique. It was the fact that like after rehearsal, guess what happens? Everybody goes to hang out. They go around the corner. They have a beer. They have a saideira, and they create community. You know, they're involved in each other's lives. That's the biggest part of all of this, for sure.
Brian Potts is here, as well as suOm of MiamiBloco. And what's happening tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night, a lot is happening, man. A lot is happening. So we'll be at the Miami Beach Band Shell from 6 o'clock on, 6 to 10, a 4-hour show that's just going to be packed with all this incredible music. It opens up with a pagode de mesa, which is more traditional samba around a table, as you would see it in Rio. It's not on stage, a table in the middle of the audience, surrounded by people with a bunch of beer in the middle of it, people having a good time. That's the way we want to walk in and open up in the environment. And then the Bateria Saideira comes on, which is the name of the performance group within MiamiBloco, which is about 40 drummers. And we'll serve as like the backing orchestra for all these incredible acts. Nilo Verano, Oigo, Brasol. We're doing an incredible collaboration with DJ Spam and Jason Matthews, like fusing synths and triggers with the Bloco. And then our second half, we have Munir Hossn on. We have Jose Max and Hamachiz singing an enredo that was written by my teacher and them for MiamiBloco. It's a Miami enredo, a theme for us, like they do in Rio every year. And then we have Samir Langus and crew that are kind of headlining our show that we brought down from New York to bring Gnawa music from Morocco and fuse it with MiamiBloco.
Okay.
Oh, and DJ Kumi too. We got a DJ on the board as well too. It's going to be a party. It's going to be a great time.
It's beyond comprehension how many people you have involved in this.
Yeah.
Did you? Well, I'll talk to you more about tomorrow night. But let me hear some music. Munir and Samir are here, and where are you folks? I'll start with you, Munir. Where are you from?
Hello. I'm from Brazil. I'm from Salvador, Bahia. And but of course my name is actually an Arabic name, and I have like this big mix. As a normal Brazilian, all Brazilian people have this incredible mix. So I have a grandfather from Angola, Africa, another grandfather from Lebanon, a grandmother from Italy, and one real Brazilian from Amazon, my abuelita.
And do you live in Miami?
I'm living in Miami for 3 years now.
And I have to ask you,
Please.
Are you your own fashion designer?
Yes.
You're always
Thank you for asking.
you're very fashionable.
thank
I've
you
seen
so
you in
much.
concert and your own design.
This also come from all this mix, and my grandfather from Africa, he used to use all these kind of different clothes, and I grew up with this. I don't know, imagination actually in my head, and a few years ago I started here a brand of these
Very good.
skirts. So yes,
How do you find Miami? How is it compared?
exactly as Brian said, like this, I feel home actually here because we have this community from everywhere, this big community, and also great artists. So as an artist, it's so easy to live here. Of course, the weather help a lot. I'm trying to invite Samir to come live here and all the band because, this kind of rain that we have for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and stop and come the sun again. So this is perfect for me.
That's nice. That's nice.
I love Miami, really.
Munir is here. Also, Samir. Samir, where are you from?
Please.
I'm from Agadir, Morocco.
Morocco. Do you live in South Florida now?
No, I live in New York. I'm
New
in
York.
Brooklyn.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Okay.
How did you get involved with
I think I've met Brian and suOm like a couple of years ago, And at the Benchill, that's when we first had our show. And then, just fall in love with the music, because I feel like the samba, like the taka 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 taka, we have that in Gnawa as well. So I just played the castanets and they were like, wow, okay, you blend in so easy. And I'm like, yeah, it's just, the roots are connected together. And yeah, I think last year me and suOm were just talking, and she's like, yeah, we should do something. I'm like, yeah, and then we started texting on Instagram, and I just said MiamiBloco, and she's like, that's it, it's happening, that's it, we're doing it.
So we have some Moroccan rhythms along with the MiamiBloco rhythms.
Yes.
What instrument are you playing?
I'm playing this instrument that's called, it has multiple names. We call it the gimbri, sintir, hejhouj, but I'll stick with the gimbri.
Okay. How many strings does it have?
It's like 2.5, but it's like 3 strings, but 2.5, because the middle string is just like always open. You don't really play it with your fingers. I mean, that's in the tradition. But, if you do fusion and stuff, you kind of break those rules.
Oh, so you do fusion? Is this what you're doing now, fusion?
Yeah. This is like, the traditional gnawa, just this instrument and 6 pairs of castanets. So imagine how loud is that? Now we just have a baby castanet and it's so loud. So imagine having 6 big adult castanets in a room,
Well, we're going to attempt to hear a little bit of what it is now. It's going to be different from tomorrow night because you'll be with a big band. But what are we going to hear now?
I don't know. We're just gonna play. We're just gonna play a tune that's called Lella Mimuna, and it's like the rhythms are from the south of Morocco.
Well, I'll tell you, before we start, you're going to be playing along with Munir, and who else is in the studio with you?
We have Carolina Mama on backing vocals, and we have Idu Gur on trumpet, and we have Gretel with us on backing vocals, Nizar Dahmani on percussion, he's going to be playing some darbuka, and we have Omar Bouaddi on the loud castanets.
Okay. Well, take it away.
ميمونة للا ميمونة الله يا بواب قناة للا ميمونة ميمونة للا ميمونة ميمونة لهلا ميمونة ميمونة بواب قناة هيا وطلبت سيدي وعطاني طلبت سيدي وعطاني طلبت سيدي وعطاني من الزين وعطاني معطيه بسيان هشا ميمونة ميمونة قناة.
Live in the WLRN studio, Samir and Munir, who's going to be playing tomorrow evening at the MiamiBloco Social at the Miami Beach Bandshell, 72nd Street and Collins Avenue in Miami Beach. Well, that was tremendous. What is that, a traditional Moroccan song?
Yeah, it's a traditional Gnawa song.
Gnawa.
And that's what I always say. It's just like, you take the rules and you break them, and you try to add some spices to them. It's like you're making a Moroccan tagine, and you have to add some potatoes, some onion, some olives, and you just try to make some spices because it is a tagine. It's eatable. You can eat it. It's the same thing with Gnawa. You can listen to it, but when you add some fusion to it, people will be like, okay, wow. But then they may be interested in the tradition, and then you send them back to Morocco.
Oh, great. So is everybody dancing to your music?
I mean, people dance. Oh, yeah, they do.
Munir and Samir playing tomorrow with MiamiBloco. And for MiamiBloco here I have in the studio suOm and Brian, who created MiamiBloco. And so this is like worlds coming together. It's very exciting.
Yeah, 100%. It's pretty unbelievable to me that we're able to pull this off and get so many different people to come together, so many different cultures. It really speaks to what we've always wanted MiamiBloco to be, and to see it coming into fruition now is just, man, it's enthralling. I'm really enjoying this weekend.
The performing part of MiamiBloco is Bateria? Bateria?
Saideira.
And that's 40 people in Bateria Saideira. How many people in MiamiBloco altogether?
I mean, we got to be over 100 if we're counting all the people who've come to our workshops, because we have 3 levels of engagement. We have the Bateria Saideira, which is the performance group that rehearses and will put on the show. We have the Bateria Academy, which is a course that you can sign up for 8 weeks. You learn how to play. You stay on one instrument. You learn how to play that instrument to train to become part of the Bateria Saideira. And then we do community workshops where you don't need to know anything at all. We have drums for about 40, 50 people. You come, and within an hour, we're playing music so that you get to experience what it's like. So if we count all those people, we got hundreds of people in MiamiBloco.
Do you get people who don't know how to play drums?
That is exactly the point. That is exactly the point. I mean, it's a mixture because, like, within the group, we have all these incredibly talented musicians. Like you're in the studio, we have Armando and Andres, who have an incredible group, Anna Moya, that I play with a bunch. And if you pulled out a bunch of the musicians in the band in MiamiBloco, you'd see you have a festival right there. But we also have people who are coming to this who don't have stage experience, don't call music as a profession. But one of the big things that I learned in Brazil is that music is not a career, it's not a profession, it's a natural expression of being a human being, and we all have that in us. And you see that everywhere in Brazil. Everybody sings, everybody plays, there's no fear or shame about it. And I think here in the U.S., a lot of times there's a barrier between the people on stage and the audience. And the point is to break that entirely and get people to come play with us who have never been on stage before, have never considered themselves to be a professional musician.
So the people on stage, I imagine, consider themselves as performers and want to entertain. So if you're in the audience playing, you still have to entertain.
Yeah, you're part of the experience, you know? Like that's the thing about a samba school, you know? That's got to be, almost 2,000 people involved in each samba school. Only 400 of them, and that's a lot, are drummers, but the rest of them are there. They're part of the samba school. It's the same thing with MiamiBloco. There's 40 on stage, but the people in the audience are part of the group as well, too, part of the entire family experience.
How many different types of drums are amongst those 40 players?
I think we got about 5 or 6, right? We have hepiki, we have caixa, we have chimbao, we have surdo, we have tamborim, we have ganza. And those are our main instruments that we orchestrate around.
I have just a question of curious. Miami, the United States is not particularly known for its drumming as much as Latin American countries. Why is that?
Well, there's a lot of theories on that, and I'm not going to pretend to be like that steeped in the academic knowledge of what really happened. But the truth of it is that if you look at the Protestant tradition here and the way that this country was constructed, listen, every country throughout the Americas is some mix of colonizers, indigenous people, and then African slaves that were brought over. And how they were treated and how they were, is pretty horrible all the way around. You know, a lot of this beautiful music comes from deep, profound sadness. And it's kind of, I think, meant to, like, try and ameliorate it a little bit as much as you can anyway. And if you look at the United States and the way that the slaves were treated here, the drums were taken away. You know, if you look at the Stone insurrection that happened, that caused a reaction across the board where the drums were taken away, songs were prohibited from being sung.
I'm sorry, Stone insurrection?
Okay, well, now we are getting to the episode.
Well, no, it's something to look up. I'm not familiar with the Stone insurrection.
There was a huge reaction to it, and throughout the South, the drums were taken away from the slaves. Whereas if you look in Brazil and in the Catholic countries of Latin America, they were more left to be able to do that sort of thing. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. You probably can.
What was that, suOm?
It was syncretism took place, so you were able to kind of fuse your real beliefs and mask them with Christian ideology. So it was sort of a technology that indigenous people here in North America and enslaved people around the world that were able to syncretize, right? So they're still preserving while pretending that they're adoring the Catholic God.
This is how you get candomblé. This is how you get santeria. This is how you get a mixture of all these sort of things. And we don't really have an analog for that in the United States, you know? And so the drum, I get that question all the time when I'm down there. Hey, what happened to your drums? Yeah. You know, and like we have drums. We have the drum set. That's a purely like United States thing, and that's its own tradition.
Because I noticed most, I guess, Brazilian and African drumming is done with the hands, and America it's with the sticks.
Yeah, but there's sticks in these drums as well too. I think the big difference is the communal aspect of it. We play drums together. You know, and everybody makes a small part of that orchestra. Whereas if you look at the drum set, there's one person controlling the entire orchestra.
It's a very American analogy. It's like, oh, you can do a community, or I can just do it all myself.
We can hire one guy instead of 20, you know?
So MiamiBloco tries to break that, you know.
Have as many drummers as you can.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And Brian, I guess it's your job to make sure everybody's playing at the same time.
I mean, it used to be, but now I have so much help.
Okay.
When it was, 10 people, I could walk around and like control everything that was happening. But now we're at 40. I have to have what's called a diretoria in Brazil, which is like the people that are in each section. We have a couple of them in this room already. Armando leads the hepiki section. Andres leads the surdo section. They're the people that are in like playing with everybody else, relaying what I'm talking about, but also making sure that the quality of the group is at a certain place. And like, it's a community thing. It's way bigger than me at this point, for sure.
Well, tell me who you brought along here in the studio.
So we have Andres Ferret, who plays surdo. We have Marlies as well, too. She plays surdo in the group. And then we have Armando, who plays hepiki in the group as well, too. And Andres and Armando in particular, we play together a lot in many other settings. They have an incredible group called Anamoya that I play with a bunch. We play with the New Deck Orchestra a bunch. These have been my musical brothers for years.
What is it that made you so attracted to the Latin culture?
Man, I was born and raised in Dallas, Texas, and I played in marching bands. And I liked the idea of playing with other people. I didn't like the idea of like waking up at 6 a.m. and doing push-ups and treating it like a sport. And that's kind of what it felt like there. And when I got to Miami, I came to Miami because I saw a Cuban big band, Cubanismo, come through town, and all of a sudden I saw people like up and dancing in the aisles, and I was like, this is what I like. I like this. This is better. So I came down to Miami to be around that, and through there I started going more to Brazil, and then I found myself down there playing a caixa on a strap, which is essentially a snare drum. So it's a full circle kind of thing.
Excellent. Brian Potts is here, as well as suOm, along with the MiamiBloco, and we have special guests, Samir and Munir. Actually, Munir is going to be doing this song. So Munir, what are we doing with this song? What's happening?
We're gonna play Me Chame Que Vale, right? Yeah, we're gonna. Actually, we played right now old samba style. The people call in Brazil that the grandfather of the samba, this rhythm that comes from chula is the name of the rhythm. And it's so interesting because it's really similar to the gnawa. And of course, everything comes from Africa. So for me, it's like super nice. We're going to mix, actually, we have some Samir musicians here, Nizar and Omar. He's going to mix with us, he's going to play with us. So yes, we're going to play chula called Me Chame Que Vale.
Okay, that sounds great.
Hello. Me chame que vale, ai, ai, ai. Me chame que vale, ai, me chame que vale, ai, ai, ai. Me chame que vale. Sou aonde o sorriso vale mais que ouro. Me chame que vale. Onde a alegria e o brilho da vida me chamam pro baile, pro baile. Quero viver levando o amor como parte da vida, ai, ai. Caminhar pelo mundo como criança. Sei, ai, me chame que vale, ai, ai, ai. Me chame que vale, ai, me chame que vale, ai, ai, ai. Me chame que sol clareia nesse mar. Vou como mensagem, aí vem amor. Pôr do sol clareia nesse mar. Vou como mensagem, aí vem amor. Pôr do sol clareia nesse mar. Vou como mensagem, aí vem amor. Pôr do sol clareia. Now we can sing together. Guys, can you sing with me? So it. Ah, yeah. Me chame que vale. Como? Ah, yeah. Me chame que vale. Ai, ai. Me chame. Let's go. Ah, yeah. Me chame que vale.
All right, live in the studio, Munir with the MiamiBloco. Just a few members of MiamiBloco.
You should try one time.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
So you'll be playing tomorrow evening for the MiamiBloco Social with Munir and Electric Kiff and DJ Le Spam and other guests. Is this a plan? Do you know what you're going to play? It seems like it's going to be.
Oh, we've been planning it. We've been planning it for a long time, and we've been rehearsing like with the Bloco since March. You know, we have 2 seasons each year. We have a fall season and a spring season, and this is our spring season show. We started in March. We would rehearse every other week at the band shell and put together the tunes. And we would collaborate with these musicians from afar, like Samir and I would be talking when you're here. and playing out some ideas of how we could arrange this. And then we rehearsed with the group, and now we're at the really fun point of putting everybody together and seeing what happens.
Oh boy, I saw you. What did I see? Because you get around. I've seen you at a lot of different shows.
At the Alpha Beta show.
At the Alpha Beta show,
Yes.
which is another great duo.
Oh, yes.
Integral part of
I
my
know.
Deco, y'all do.
New Daco, yeah, for sure. We're very active here.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Miami, and anybody could take classes, right? Anybody who's
Yes.
interested in is it more of samba or more drumming or?
It's samba drumming, like that's the heart of what we do, and we'll always respect and honor that tradition. But we play a ton of other styles in the Afro-Brazilian lexicon, as well as Latin America, South America, Africa. Like wherever we get inspiration from, we like to bring that to the Bloco.
You mentioned that this kind of developed intuitively, kind of with the help of suOm. And MiamiBloco is a Brazilian phenomenon. Is this in other cities? Other cities have taken the Bloco theme?
Oh, for sure. There's different groups throughout the United States that do variants of this. And there's so many different styles of samba within Brazil. You see a lot of samba reggae groups throughout the United States. You see a lot of just straight samba carioca groups throughout the United States. I think one thing that makes us very unique is this incredible mixture of cultures, and I can't imagine anybody anywhere better to do it in the U.S. than Miami because of all the richness that we can draw from here. And the thing that I'm most proud of in this group is just how excellent of musicians we have throughout. And so we're able to kind of like bend and play in all these different places that I think is really unique for Bloco, and I'm very proud of this group for that.
Brian Potts of MiamiBloco, and again, the show is tomorrow evening from 6 to 10 at the Miami Beach Band Show, which is located on 72nd and Collins. Is that what it is?
I believe so.
And with a whole bunch of guests, a whole evening of interesting entertainment. And let's have MiamiBloco.com, I assume that's
MiamiBloco.org.
.org.
Nonprofit, yeah. We just formed into a nonprofit less than a year ago. And now to support this giant community, we're going after fundraising and grants and things like that, because up until this point, it's really just been done because everybody loves it, and people have been so giving of their time and their energy, everybody in this room and many, many more, that have made this thing happen. But now we've got something really beautiful and really special in Miami. We want to keep it going. And I think this is the best way for it. So if you're out there in that world and you want to come help, and you want to come volunteer, you want to help us fundraise, anything like that, we're looking to grow and we need more people.
Brian Potts, MiamiBloco. One more tune. What can we finish up with?
Amor para alma.
Amor pra alma?
What'd you say?
I stay here. I go with Samir.
I mean, probably better if you're in here for that.
Samir, please.
You have the headphones on? Yeah. There's so many people here. We had a split between two studios. So
this is what happens with a big organization.
Yeah.
It's a lot of logistics to work out. See?
Brian, you handling the 40-piece band, that must drive you crazy. How do you get 40 people together?
I get 40 really good people that I love playing with, and it makes it a lot easier.
Okay. So what's happening? What's happening now?
Amor pra alma, right?
Amor pra alma, simbora.
Okay. pela estrada do amor. Caminho lento pra ver que cada passo levou. Tempo pra ter, tempo pra dar, tempo pra ter calma, tempo pra dar amor pra alma, tempo pra ter tempo pra dar, tempo pra ter calma, tempo pra dar amor pra alma. Let's do it like this. So, we're waiting for you guys. Come on, eh?
Yeah.
Come on, let's do that.
Just like a rehearsal.
In the studio with MiamiBloco, special guest Munir and Samir, and they'll be playing tomorrow evening at the Miami Beach Band Shell. MiamiBloco.org for more information. Everyone, incredible stuff, so much fun. Thank you so much, Brian and Suma, for what you do, and hope to get you back here in the studio.
Yes, we would love
Anytime.
it. Thank you so much for this, Michael. This was amazing.
Thank you. Here's Sean Tyrell.